It's our latest look at the news. I'm Win Damon. This is WJOP Radio, 96.3 FM, broadcasting simultaneously on Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport. And we have a guest, Teresa Spaulding. And good morning to you.
Good morning, Win.
It's nice to have you join us today.
Nice job on the news.
Well, thank you very much.
And that's the way it is.
That's the way.
With Win.
With Walter Cronkite. He was the one that said that, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
That's the way it is.
And that's the way it is.
Well, that's...
what a town.
Oh, all types of news going on.
Hearing you say that, I mean, I always knew it was a great town, but hearing you do a good job.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
good voiceover.
that. Well, thank you.
Just what I still do, but
still do, yeah.
Voiceovers are fun.
Now we're talking with Teresa Spaulding. Now, when I left a message, I thought you said Therese.
Oh, Teresa.
Teresa.
Yeah.
Okay. You dropped off the
Oh, I did. And I'm a voiceover person.
Oh my gosh. Oh well.
Teresa.
Was that?
It is spelled that way.
Oh, okay.
Sounds more exotic, but people call me Tree.
Okay.
Or Teresa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're an actress.
I am.
And you live in Newburyport.
I do.
And you do acting all over the place, don't you?
I do. Worked at the Firehouse and the Actors Studio. There's a lot of great talent in this town.
Yeah.
I've worked in Boston, it's Boston Playwrights, which is a nice platform for writers and actors. I've done new works over at Fireworks. The Firehouse.
Yeah. Are you in the New Works Festival?
I'm not this year, no.
Okay.
No, unless somebody asks me, but no.
Well, they wrap it up this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah, so they didn't ask.
Yeah.
Their people didn't get a hold of your people.
I love the Firehouse. That's a beautiful theater to work in. It's one of my favorite places. And the Actors Studio with Mark Clopton.
Yeah.
It's so cozy and, just a small house, and he does a great job there.
Yeah, Mark's been doing that for a long time.
Yep.
And his license plate, I've always been fascinated with his license plate.
Oh, what does it say?
I look at license plates.
Oh, you do? That's good. You get signs from license plates. You never know.
Yeah. His says, breathe.
Breathe. Yes.
Is that something he always says in his classes? Breathe.
Yes. Breathing is good. Sometimes we forget to breathe.
Yeah. Well, when you get too wound up, right?
Yeah. No, I breathe.
Okay. Every day. Huh?
Well, that's good. I qualify for breathing.
Well, that's good. Now, one of the things that interested me when I heard about you was that you had some time with One Life to Live, the soap opera.
I did. Yeah, that was really fun. I was on the show for 2 years in 1985.
1985.
And I was the second Connie O'Neill. And it was so much fun. I was actually a fan of the show. I auditioned, I screen tested for playing a psycho girl, and the producer called me up and he said, you're completely wrong for this part. And so I started to walk away, and he said, well, where are you going? And he said, but you're perfect for Connie O'Neill. And so I got on the show, and it was wonderful. It was so much fun. You show up like 5 o'clock in the morning, get your scripts like the day before or a few days before, and then you go with the writers and you rehearse, and you can come in your pajamas with no makeup, and then you go through rehearsals, and then you do dress and shoot, and it's a long day, but they certainly pay you enough.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was really fun.
Because that was one. My wife got me hooked on One Life to Live.
Yeah.
And she was so bummed when they canceled the show.
I know, and I believe it's because of all the reality shows that the ratings. But some of those actors went on to do. I think they were doing it. What do you call it on the internet? They were doing it on.
They tried.
They tried.
It didn't go.
Yeah, and then General Hospital is still around. They survived. All My Children did not. They filmed across the street from us in New York on 68th Street.
Oh, okay.
So you could punch in and see what they were doing in the studio.
Yeah, we've switched now over to General Hospital.
Yeah.
So what was Connie O'Neill's story?
Well, I started off a bad girl, like a call girl, and then ABC kind of made me a good girl. So you don't work as much when you're good. Okay. In life you do, but not on the soaps.
It's kind
of
like
the soaps. You want the juice. You want the storyline.
Yeah.
But no, Connie O'Neill. She was one of two sisters, and I married Brad in the hospital, and just it's crazy stuff. There was a shooting at my sister's wedding, and just fun.
Oh, wow.
Fun stuff.
Now, how many times were you married on the show?
I was married only once.
Oh, okay.
And when they wrote off my family, I was in the subway as Teresa, traveling to my next audition. And the girl at the booth said, what are you doing? You're supposed to be on your honeymoon in Europe. And I said, no, that's on the show, but I'm just going for my next job.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, it's weird because the show aired the first week, and I was shopping in Bloomingdale's, and this woman was staring at me, and I didn't know why, and it was because she recognized me from the show. So that was new for an actress doing theater and nobody knowing who you are, and so that was fun, and some people actually really believe that you are that character.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which is fine, whatever gets you through the day.
Yeah. Now, where were you? Did you know that your character was going to be written off?
No. Although actors would always look ahead for funerals. That's true. No, we didn't. Well, you started to see the writing on the wall a little bit. I mean, the family had been on for a number of years, and they were just going a different direction. So, but I was very grateful to have the 2 years that I had, and
Sure.
I worked with, and I was a fan. So when I got on the show, I knew Asa Buchanan and Robin, and Dorian and Vicky, who went to the Convent of Sacred Heart, same high school. Remember Vicky?
I think so.
Erica Slazak.
Is she?
She was like.
Is she on General Hospital? There is a Vicky on General Hospital.
I don't think Erica is on General Hospital.
Okay. All right.
I don't think she is, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But lovely lady, and I think One Life to Live was her first audition.
Oh.
Which is really unheard of in our business. I think Meg Ryan. I think she was on the soaps.
Yeah.
And then I think that was her first audition, and then she was going to be a lawyer. So you never know.
Yeah. I remember Asa Buchanan.
Oh, he was great. Phil Carey.
Uh-huh.
He was in all the cowboy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he said to me, Irish, slow down, you'll be fine. He was very supportive.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. He used to have a $100 bill on his forehead and say to the writers, "Who writes this stuff?"
Oh, no.
Another day, another $100, but whatever. No, he was a bigger than life, real gentleman.
Oh, nice. Now, did it help you get future jobs once you were on the
I
set?
was with William Morris. I got with William Morris when I was 18. So I started in their commercial department. Well, actually, I have a funny story about that. My dad knew the director, Steve Gordon. He directed Arthur.
Okay.
The first one with Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli. And I was fortunate enough that he knew him. And so we were having lunch at 21. Aren't I throwing down names?
Yeah,
But
you are.
Anyway, so I met Steve Gordon. He was a great guy. And so we were talking, and he liked me, and he saw that I was a young actress, and he decided to open the door for me, which is so important to artists, to open doors and to help each other out. And he said, I'll introduce you to my friend at William Morris. So, fantastic. I mean, William Morris, it's the best agency ever. And so I went to William Morris, and I went in to meet this man, Lou Weiss. And he had all these pictures of Mary Tyler Moore, Carol Burnett, all these celebrities. And so we're talking, and and he says, "Oh, well, I can't represent you." So again, I'm exiting. I go, "Okay, well, thank you very much for your time." And I start to leave. He's like, "Where are you going?" He said, "I can't He said, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "You're Mr. Weiss." And he said, "No, I'm the president of William Morris. Would you like to start in my commercial department and work your way up to me?" Yes, sir. What a break for an actress,
Yeah.
So when I went down to the commercial department, Lou Weiss is sending me down. And the agent, who Ruth Weiss, she said, "My goodness, who are you?" Lou Weiss is she wasn't, Ruth Aronson, that was her name. And she said, "Who is Lou Weiss sending down?" We're all wondering. I said, "Just me, Teresa Donahoe, And I started in their commercial department, and then I went out for pilot season out to Los Angeles because William Morris was out there too. So I'd go out there for 3 months, and they would just hand me scripts, and I'd just audition at NBC, ABC, CBS, and all these fun things. And then I ended up getting shows, nighttime shows, and it just, some years were waitressing, and other years I was on a set for 15 hours, making great money, and then making no money and being a really bad waitress, really bad. But you have to do what you have to do as an artist.
Yeah. Now, what were some of the TV shows you were on?
Sunny Spoon, I was a co-star with Mario Van Peebles, which was really great. You remember Stephen J. Cannell with the typewriter and the paper, Rockford Files, A-Team?
Oh, yeah.
21 Jump Street. He discovered, his name escapes me, the actor who was in, oh God, my brain is done. Too much coffee or not enough. Anyway, Stephen J. Cannell saw me on a screen test that was sent out to Los Angeles. Just serendipity. He happened to be walking by with his cup of coffee and saw my screen test that I did in New York. And he said, that's Carolyn Gilder. That's the part I wrote. So it can happen that way. Mm-hmm. And he flew me out, and that was it. And I worked with Mario, and I played Carolyn Gilder, and he was Mario Van Peebles. He was like this detective, always in kind of like a spoof of Rockford Files. That's what Cannell was thinking. And then I did Broken Badges with him in Vancouver, and I played another, detective. I played a lot of cops, detectives, and I did a guest star on Capitol News with Lloyd Bridges, played a cop, and then I did Dark Justice. These are all shows that are no longer on. I did Silk Stockings, and I did a bunch of stuff. I made my living as an actress. Like I said to you earlier, I do have a little pension when I want to collect it, so that feels like, okay, I did something, and I did my bucket list. And I do a lot of voiceover as well. I did more in New York and LA, which is where all the national networks are. Mm-hmm. Here in Boston, it's more regional. I don't know why we don't get the national network auditions. I wish we did. There's so much talent in Boston, and that goes for television and movies too.
Yeah.
We kind of get thrown some bones,
Well, I know that I don't know if the state still has it, but they were offering discounts or incentives for people to make movies here. Did that help out at all?
Yes, it did. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did that radio show in Boston, and they were working on that. Again, I forget that guy's name too. Gosh, it's good plugs. No, but I love being an actress, and I wanted to be an actress since I was 5. And the biggest thing I would say to the young people that I teach is get with the right teacher.
Yeah. Like
any other business, there's a formula to it. There are tools that you use to build a character and just to stay present, stay in the moment. And like what we're doing right now, it's really just like throwing a ball to each other back and forth.
Yeah, and breathe.
And breathe. Breathing is very important. Yeah. And hang in there, getting with an agent. You do need an agent. But I just did 2 little tiny independent films. And people are thinking out of the box, and with technology and kids filming and things, they're raising their own money, and they're submitting them into film festivals. I love Sundance. The whole story with Sundance with Robert Redford. He started that 50-something years ago because he felt that Hollywood was not personal enough, and he wanted that human connection. Mm-hmm. And he wanted unknown writers and unknown actors and actresses and things like that. And that's a beautiful thing. It's so important. And I'm doing a 3rd film with Steve Blackwood. David Sussman is a local writer, and he adapted David Sussman's script, Meet the Author. And we're shooting in Jabberwocky I think in January or February.
Okay.
And I have a little tiny part in that, playing a Boston book critic. So I'm going to make her a know-it-all, and I never read the book. And so, you just develop your own little character. And then I might be doing, this is shocking, maybe, I'm about to hear any day, this another little tiny independent film called Mob Gals.
Mob Gals.
Mob Gals playing Donna Maria. But we'll see. We'll see. I actually auditioned for her over at Emerson. This is kind of a funny story. Should I tell it, or do I have time?
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I could talk all day to you, man. Don't stop me. But I met her at Emerson. It's not a part of Emerson, but she was using the room to audition actresses. And so I showed up, and she said, "Oh, I have to wait for my friend. They're her guest." And so after a few minutes, I said, I can audition for you right here. I mean, I don't need to go up to a room. I mean, it's fine. We'll do it right here. And she said, "Okay, there's a food court over there." And I said, "Oh, great, whatever." So we go over there and we sit down and we start talking. And this gentleman approaches and he's smiling. And he says to me, "Do you think that the locomotive train is going to be fast enough?" "I think it is. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm right?" And I said, "Yes. Yes, you are right." And so he kept asking me the same question. Obviously, was mentally not well.
Yeah.
And God bless him. And everything was a yes and right. And I just felt like, well, if I'm not in this audition right now as this character handling this. And then another guy came up and asked me, "Do I do the Google for my resume?" And I said, "Yes." Yes. It is all yes. God bless you. Yes. And she just sort of sat there and looked at me like, okay. It's probably because I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I sound like I'm wanting accolades or a show off. And I'm not. I'm a very humble person. But I guess if I was humble, I wouldn't be saying that. But help me out here, Win.
Well,
I'm rambling.
You mentioned Steve, and you and Steve do work together over at the Federal Church, or
yes,
the church on Federal Street.
He has a master acting class. We have a great theater company. We usually do a showcase once a year, either at the Belleville or we've worked in Salem. Yeah, it's a beautiful class. He's a great teacher, and it's so important to be with a great teacher so you don't learn bad habits. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to do theater. Theater. A lot of these young people are doing these web series, and they don't know how to act.
So the theater on the stage is more acting than in front of the cameras then, huh?
It's bigger, but it's still the same formula.
Yeah.
You still have to be present. You still have to know what you want to get done in the scene, who you are, where you're coming from. Just entrances and exits are so important. Okay. Stella Adler, New York, she wouldn't let actors do a scene for a year until they mastered exiting and entrances. So it doesn't look like when you're watching a play that an actor's just coming on because somebody told them to.
Right.
Like they're coming from somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
so there's a life that continues from backstage onto the stage. I love acting. I think everyone should do a play once in their life. Mm-hmm. It's just, especially young kids in high school, because you have your kids in your math and your science class, and then you have your kids in your theater class and your sports. Yeah. So in the theater, it's just a different bunch of kids. It's just another experience. Take Chinese. Who cares? Who knows where it's going to lead? Well,
there are some plays coming up. I think Amesbury High School's got something coming up next month, and there are a whole bunch of things around. All the high schools, they have their theater departments.
I know. I love that. Yeah. So the arts are so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's neat. You have been around, and
I've been around. When?
Yeah. That was Tony Bennett's song, right?
Yeah.
Now, can you sing too?
I do sing.
Okay.
I do sing. Yep. I did Once Upon a Mattress. In my freshman year, I went to Barrett College, who no one's ever heard of, but out in Lake Forest. It's near Lake Forest College. Uh-huh. And I did Once Upon a Mattress, and I was Princess Winifred, which was a great role. And then I did Alice in Wonderland. I was the Mad Hatter on roller skates with a tea party on wheels. Yeah. And that was a great part. That's a great part for a young actress or actor. Funny story about that is that I worked at Radio City Music Hall as an usherette when I was trying to make my way. And we were doing the preview of Annie and they asked me to be Carol Burnett's escort.
Oh my gosh!
Who is my favorite? Who is she's amazing, And so I was supposed to go to her seat and escort her down into the, underneath the orchestra so that she could rise. Well, we got a little lost down there, and she was laughing, and I was laughing, and she kept calling me Terry Donahoe because I kept calling her Carol Burnett. And I said, you know what? I do know how. So we had to go through the men's locker room, and she was laughing. And she said, oh, you were Winifred, you were Princess Fred, and Once Upon a Mattress. That's my debut on Broadway. And she was lovely. She wasn't mad. She wasn't angry. And I did get her there until, right at the nick of time. I got her there, and she rose, and I took a breath and breathed. And I actually wrote her a letter that I haven't mailed yet, but just to thank her.
Yeah. How come she didn't invite you back on her 50th anniversary show?
I know. I watched that.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
she's amazing.
All right. So you encourage folks to try acting. Give it a shot.
I do, with the right teacher, and do as much theater as you can.
Okay. Now, how can they get a hold of you if they wanted to talk with you about that stuff further?
Oh, sure. Terry Donahoe or Teresa Spaulding, Teresa Spaulding, Spaulding at Comcast.net.
Okay, neat. I found the high school, Newburyport High School, the theater department. They're doing Gypsy.
Oh yeah, my daughter told me that. Yeah,
that's in early March.
Awesome.
And then in Amesbury, the 350th anniversary committee, they're putting a show on as a fundraiser, and it's called Dear Mr. Woodwell.
Oh, nice.
And
never heard of that. Is that a musical?
No, it's an original.
Nice.
And he was a teacher at Amesbury High School back in World War II, and he encouraged people, his students, to write the soldiers.
Wow.
So, and some of those folks, wrote back, and they kept in touch, and that's how they pieced together the show, Dear Mr. Woodwell.
Oh, wow. So letters to each other.
So that's going to be in a couple of weeks, February 8th through the 10th.
Oh, that's awesome. Everyone should go and support it.
So he had, he was an English teacher, had over 80 students. Right.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love everybody has a story.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated.
So do you like acting better than writing? Do you write too?
I do write. I have poems in my head and I just write them down. But I'm learning with a friend how to be more technical.
Okay.
But I have a lot of stories in my head.
Have you met Rena Espaillat?
That's my teacher.
Oh.
That's who I'm learning from. I took a great poetry class with these wonderful people that were much more experienced than I was, and so I actually want to try and get Rena in the class. She doesn't know it yet. I'm going to call you Rena. To have them do some of their poems. They're really talented. Okay. You learn when listening. So
yeah. Well, talking about poetry, they're going to have at Newburyport High. They have another edition of Poetry Soup coming up on Wednesday night. So I guess when you're in acting, you're never home.
Well, you're never home. Also, as an actress, you could just sit on a park bench or sit on a city bus and observe.
Yeah, I noticed that Robert De Niro had. I saw a clip where he was practicing how people walk, and he nailed it. All different types of walks and things like that.
It's important. My teacher used to say, if you're interested in what you're doing, you're interesting to watch. Just be true to it, as we try to be in life, and have fun. And just be present and listen.
Yeah.
And don't expect anything to happen. Just, if you're in the moment, anything can happen. That's what I love about theater. It's just, when accidents happen, sometimes those are the gifts.
The funniest parts.
The funniest parts. Yeah, go with it. If you drop your draws, keep going with it.
All right, we'll have to get you back.
It's a good ending.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Thanks, Win.
Well, Teresa, thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll get you back again.
All right.
All right, Teresa Spaulding, our guest this morning, here on WJOP Radio, 96.3 FM, and also Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport, where we broadcast simultaneously.